We should now be live.
I was just saying upcoming.
Okay. Shall we start? It is recording.
Recording.
It is recording.
Publish later.
Yeah. Ready when you are, sorry.
Are you all right?
Yeah.
No, I'll give up on this like I've got paper on. Computers is no. Okay. Welcome everyone to this.
Should we elect a chair?
Yeah, I was just gonna go to item 1. Okay,
It's working.
it's working.
Yeah, all good.
Yeah. Okay. Welcome everyone to this month's Planning Committee of Sandwich Town Council. The agenda is to members and co-opters of the Planning Committee, and item 1 is to elect a chair. So,
So I'm happy to propose Councillor Franklin to remain as chair.
thank you.
Do we have anyone who will second that? And then are you happy to all vote?
Yeah,
All in favour?
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you for that, Councillor. Thank you. Item 2, apologies for absence received.
We've received apologies from Councillor Morehouse and Councillor Carter. They're at a Dover District Council meeting, and Councillor Marie due to work commitments.
Thank you. Item 3, declarations of interest. To receive any declarations of disclosable pecuniary interest from members in respect of business to be transacted on the agenda.
Yeah, I'm an ex-Manwoodian and on the OMA committee, so I think 7A, I'll abstain.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chair. Also, on the same item, I'm a resident of St George's Road.
Yeah.
I live around
In name.
200, 250
Yeah.
metres away from the site, so I can't say I'm speaking as a NIMBY,
No,
but I reserve the right to speak on and vote on that
yeah,
item.
no, that's fine. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. What? Item 4, to consider co-optees, members to consider up to 3 individuals with knowledge or expertise that will benefit the committee's operation and become co-optees. Decision required.
So I've had contact from Mr. Anode to say he's happy to continue if you wish, and also Mr. Hennessy is here tonight.
Mr. Hennessy, you happy to stay on?
I am.
Yes.
I mustn't go home.
And I understand that so the tree warden is also a co-optee, but at the moment she's
Very
taking
well.
a break, so we can consider that when she's happy to return.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
do you want to propose a
I
second?
propose that we keep the same co-optees.
Yeah, I'll second.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All in favour?
All in favour?
Yeah, lovely, thank you. Item 5, minutes of the Planning Committee. To approve the minutes of the Planning Committee held on Monday the 14th of April 2025 and to consider any matters arising from those minutes not covered elsewhere in this agenda. You quite happy to approve the minutes?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll approve it. Just got a second.
Sorry, who did someone second? Oh, thank you very much.
Okay. All in favour? Unanimous. Thank you.
Okay.
Item 6, a 20-minute session is set aside for members of the public to make representations at the meeting in respect of the business on the agenda. Individual representation should not exceed 5 minutes. Written notice of the desire to exercise the right to speak, together with the topic to be addressed, must be given to the town clerk at least 4 hours in advance of the meeting.
Yes, we have had a request, and members should have all received a pre-written report. Do you wish to speak? Are you happy to be on camera or off camera?
Either.
Okay, that's fine.
Yes, would you like to speak?
Thank you. Well, I wish my classes were as orderly as this meeting started. Thanks for having me to speak. I'm speaking on behalf of over 1,000 students with at least 300 parents living within the Sandwich Town Council boundary. We and you have to strike a balance between the interests of them and our facility users and the concerns of the objectives to our first application. The history of this application, of which several on the committee have past experience, is summarised in our briefing note, and we welcome close questioning on our assessment that we have now covered all the issues identified by an inspector as barriers to approval. In essence, balancing the loss of a green space against the provision of public amenities and ecological offsets elsewhere around the school grounds, he found that there was a net benefit favouring our pupils and facility users, but that we had failed to produce enough agreements to link plot sale receipts to the funding of those amenities. With that agreement, the inspector made clear approval would have been given, and this is now on the table with DDC. But please do also question me on what denial of planning permission will do to the school. I've been head teacher since the beginning of the year, but I can see that when this case first came before Sandwich Town Council, our then agent advised us only to deal with DDC officers. Clearly that was wrong, and by not engaging with Sandwich Town Council and organisations such as the Environment and Conservation Group, only one side of the argument was aired. So I'm not surprised that STC opposed the application. We do not want to repeat that mistake, so I've come with our business manager, Paula Bonnell, who knows the history of the site, and Alistair Hume, our planning agent, who can answer questions on ecology mitigations and on the funding agreement. Some arguments made in opposition are not quite accurate, and we would like the chance both to ensure that councillors do not make recommendations based on any misunderstanding, and to try to put the record straight for our neighbours and others. Thank you. Do I answer?
Just the speaker.
Sorry?
Just one
Yes,
speaker.
yes, that's
Okay.
right.
A welcome from the town council has been the new head, because it's nice to meet you, and I hope we have more meetings, because I think it's important that we meet the schools and any problems you have, to come and like this, come and talk to us.
Indeed.
So we're always open to talk with all the schools. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you for that. Okay, item 7, planning applications. Planning application.
I just, did anyone have any questions?
Did you have any questions at all? Yeah.
So back in February, planning inspector rejected the appeal for this plot, and his JP, so I'm assuming it's a he, his comment was that the policy PM5 of the district local plan states that development proposals that involve the whole or partial loss of open space within settlements will not be supported unless any replacement facility or enhancement of the remainder of the existing site provides a net benefit to the community in terms of the quantity, quality, availability and accessibility of open space or sport and recreational opportunities. So the appeal was rejected and costs against Dover District Council were refused. So could you just explain exactly how that loss of open space is going to be mitigated by this new proposal?
Would you hear that? Yes, you've picked out the crux of the issue, really. But the inspector in his decision did go on to suggest that the reason he couldn't put weight on the benefits to weigh against the loss of the open space was because there was a condition which we thought was adequate to cover that planning condition, wasn't strong enough sort of legally, if you like, to bind the capital receipt back into the sporting facilities. And because of that reason, he couldn't put weight on the benefits that he identified. He actually said in paragraph 9 of the inspector's report that he did recognise that the principle of reinvestment into sports facilities was a benefit to the school and the wider community, but he just couldn't put the weight that, and for that reason, he didn't have. He found that there was a conflict with that particular policy. We've addressed that in this application by proposing a section 10, it's known as section 106 a legal agreement that will tie the two together and deal with that issue.
Yeah. And what are the details of that agreement? Can you expand on it?
Well, we're agreeing the heads of terms at the moment with the planning officers at Dover, and then that will be crystallised into a draft legal agreement that will then be reviewed by Dover District Council, and the wording will be agreed, so it's absolutely watertight.
And have you had an indication from DDC that they're prepared to accept those proposals?
The planning officer dealing with the application is just waiting for the consultation period to end. We've had a few statutory consultee comments come back from various bodies, but nothing of concern at the moment, and that will be the next step over the next couple of weeks.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay then. Item 7 and 7A, planning application reference 25/00500, proposed erection of detached dwelling, information and new access and associated landscaping.
Sorry, I think they want to.
Oh.
No, you can stay. We are going to discuss the application, so you're able to stay and listen, but you can't interject in the conversation you have. Yeah.
I've placed it next on the agenda, so then after that, if you wish to leave, you're welcome. Sorry.
Apologies.
That's all right. Thought Charles would know. Okay, where are we? Erection of detached dwelling, formation of new access and associated landscaping. Location, land next to 95 St George's Road, Salmon, CT 13 9LE.
So I think the argument you put forward is a compelling one in terms of why you want to do this. The issue that remains at a parish council is that we have to look at the material considerations. So they are very specific, and what we have is two very conflicting views, in my opinion, in terms of whether, for example, biodiversity is impacted or not. And we aren't the right group of people to make a decision on that. You can make a decision if you want, but I don't feel equipped to make a judgment either for or against on that. There's also the issue about, similar to the loss of designated open space, the protected species and impact on the neighbouring property, particularly, which was an issue the first time round. Section 106 money, which, it's a generous offer and it's great when you're going to go through that with Dover District Council, but that wouldn't normally be a material consideration in terms of planning application for us.
No.
So where I am at the moment is I can't jump either way in terms of the application. I still see a strong argument put forward that conflicts what's said tonight, and we don't have the technical investigations that will be carried out at the district level, because they'll ultimately approve or not. So I'm going to reserve judgment in terms of where I am on this. I won't be voting for or against, because I've got strong arguments in both camps.
I just remember it. I think it's part of the Army Cadets assault course donkeys years ago, and then they sold all those, and then they did those other houses. I forget the name of them. On the corner, those big detached houses. I was a bit upset because some old oak trees were taken down for that, and this is just like the tag end of that previous development, just a little end bit which, in a way, tidies the site up. It's just like a little scruffy area in my mind. So to me, it's just tidying the site up, because there's no longer going to be an Cadet Army assault course there, and it's not a very big plot. And I think what the trouble was, I think they were worried that some trees had already been taken down, weren't they?
That was part of the history of this.
Yeah. No, I think they just want 2 more trees down.
Yes, I think we should note that apparently there has been some degradation, I think that was the term that was used, of the site before planning permission was granted. And this has happened before. It's happened with the site near the Fellowship Walk. It's also happened with a small bit of land opposite St Mary's Church, where land was cleared and the brick wall demolished. So I think the planning committee should note that, unfortunately, people are jumping the gun. They're starting to prepare a site for development before permission has been given for development.
Just in response to that, we do get applications, as we know, that where the works have started previously, but it is not a material consideration. We have to look at the application as articulated by the applicants, even if they've completed the whatever it is they're seeking permission for. So we have to look at it from a material consideration perspective in this meeting.
I think it will go through this time at Dover,
We will do.
and I think that sometimes, even though we're not quite sure how it should go, but I think I'd like to approve the application myself. But
I mean, there are issues about the site being cleared, loss of wildlife in advance of any application or successful application. So I think that is an issue. I mean, it might not be a material planning issue, but it does, in my view, impact upon the reputation of the applicants. I don't know why they did that. I will vote against this simply because it's already gone to appeal, it's been rejected at appeal, and there is no evidence of any significant difference. I know you talk about the section 106, but that's 10 years that hasn't been agreed, so there's no significant difference. The tree officer says there's no significant difference between this and the previous application. There's loss of wildlife and trees on the site, so I will vote against it.
Do you propose that we turn this application down?
It's up to the
We've got a second now, so who's going
To the vote.
Well, neither of us have got a seconder, have we?
No.
Doing that? You abstaining as well?
I was planning to abstain.
So we're going to abstain as
So
well.
can I propose that we choose not to comment on this application?
Not to comment on the
Because
application, yeah.
actually, don't forget, this is driven by a higher level of review and rejection, and the response from the applicant is in response to that. So I would suggest
We no response.
Yeah.
I think we should also note the distress that this causes to the neighbour.
Oh yes, you came up time.
Repeatedly having to fight this, the impact upon their property, the stress that causes.
So if you have a proposer for no comment, does anybody second that?
Yes, I'll second.
And do you want to vote?
Yeah, going to vote for the no comment? Is it so? Yeah.
So sorry, what's the proposal?
We're not
no
going to comment
comment.
on the application.
We do not comment.
Yeah.
That's the proposal.
Yeah, I think
actually can.
I'm not abstaining.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So sorry, what was yours?
Well,
Let me-
yeah, we don't comment.
Okay, so that's
We leave it down to Dover.
3, and then 2. Okay.
I suppose I can actually vote for no comment because I said I wouldn't
Yeah.
comment.
You can,
Okay.
Did you want to leave now?
you can leave now.
You can leave now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Might be a bit of a damp squib, but
Yeah.
thanks for turning up.
Lovely to see you.
Yeah, look, yeah. Okay. Okay. Item B, planning application on sort of 25/00459, proposal, reserved matters application pursuant to outline application 14/00058 for the erection of 356 dwellings, landscaping, open space, sports facilities, commercial uses and associated infrastructure. Location, Discovery Park House, Ramsgate Road, Sandwich, CT 39ND. So it's I like the name, they're calling it Stonor Fen, aren't they?
Yeah.
You remember I said it was Stonor, not Sandwiches, not
Yeah.
Council Arms.
Well, this is 11 years old. It's an application that if it came up to date probably would be strongly objected to, but we are where we are. So all we're having is yet more details of layouts and elevations and landscaping and parking and so on. I'm not sure what we can really do
No.
to influence any decision making here. It's very difficult. I mean, on the one hand, we are getting more play areas and sports areas, but come back to the issue that this is a major development, half a kilometre or more from the urban fabric of Sandwich. So it means more cars, more pedestrians, more cyclists, and all coming across the toll bridge or not, as the case may be. It's going to be very difficult. I mean, my only comment on the parking proposals, I don't know if this is the DDC policy or national policy, but one parking space per 2-bedroom home seemed to me inadequate.
Yeah.
And that if there's additional parking, there's going to be chaos on the on-street parking.
I think they did that at Willowbank, because I remember they had 1.5 cars per dwelling. I thought, how can you have 1.5 cars per dwelling? It's got 1.5 cars in it for 3 bedrooms, I
It's
think.
1 per 2-bed and then
1.5
for
for
a 3.
yeah. It's crazy, isn't it?
So there'll be lots of on-street parking. There's a comment from the fire service that the roads are not wide enough for fire engines.
Yeah.
What about solar panels? Is there any obligation for,
It's up to them, isn't it?
there's no obligation for solar panels to be installed in new developments?
No. 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 I mean, they're houses, aren't they? So they're quite high houses. They might end up putting some solar panels on it individually, but I don't think the developers have talked about putting solar panels on, is there? No. No. It's like we went up to that thing we weren't supposed to talk, were we? So they've had all these people up there, didn't they? These development people.
Yeah.
So I think it's more or less a fait accompli, really, in a sense.
So I agree that this is a long-standing development.
Yeah.
This is the next stage of the iteration of what's been presented.
Yeah.
I think in principle, certainly in principle, I would support the idea of additional housing.
Mm.
The issue is the impact on the town.
Mm.
But in terms of what's in front of us today, I couldn't find anything in there that I could use
No.
as a material consideration about the impact on the town. So
Yeah.
I'm happy to support it as it stands, because again, it's another whole raft of technical detail that Dover District Council will drill down into.
That's right, yeah. I mean, like you say, it's got sports pitches, isn't it? Football pitches, recreational idea. And they're talking about making a little village with retail units as well, aren't they?
Mm.
Completely with council.
I mean, I look back at the original application in 2014, and the master plan is as it is now, more or less. So these straight, I mean, just to me, it looked a bit like
Looks like a barracks to me, the military camp to me.
Yeah.
I couldn't help being reminded of photographs of the Kitchener camp. Lines of
Yeah.
absolutely identical huts.
They're using the same drainage system. It did look like that. It's all the same, isn't it? All around it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very appealing.
So you proposed it, doesn't it? You proposed
I'm
it?
happy to propose that we
Yeah.
accept this
Yeah.
application.
Yeah, I'll second it. Okay. All in favour? Yeah, all in favour. Thank you.
I'm not sure though that people in Sandwich appreciate that this development is going to
It's
happen.
coming, yeah.
Perhaps we need to publicise it more.
Yeah. Okay.
Who knows when they might, start laying foundations.
We need a school up there and all the doctors, don't they?
And of course, in 50 years, it will be underwater.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's why it's going to be high. Okay, thank you. Item C, planning application reference number 25/00460, proposal reserved matters application pursuant to outline application 14/00058 for the erection of 32 dwellings and associated infrastructure, location Discovery Park House, Bramsgate Road, Sandwich, Kent. It's another little plot, isn't it?
So again,
Well, I think some of the same considerations apply, but I think the design of these houses is pretty uninspiring. And I think the roads are too narrow.
Councillor Ross.
I think also it's unclear from this, going back to the original application, there was talk of 30% affordable housing, which is still the DDC target, but it's subject to a financial viability. So it's not clear from this master plan now, is any affordable housing being provided? I'm not
No.
clear.
No, my understanding, it was from the briefing, that affordable housing wasn't on
Oh,
the
was
block
it?
at the time that this was conceived, so actually it doesn't fall under the scope of
No.
the affordable housing
No.
requirements.
I think it was.
Because the
Was it? I apologise if I'm wrong, but I'm sure that was said in the briefing.
Yeah, because I always remember going back to Willowbank, say 20 years ago,
Yeah.
you know, they had to do a percentage of housing association house or affordable housing. because the cost of development was so high at Willowbank, there's going to put the affordable housing in Deal. This is as long as it's within the Dover district.
Yeah.
Because one of the people up there, when we went to that meeting, didn't they, said about the lack of affordable housing. So it's
But again, within what's in front of us today, affordable housing is not part of what we've been asked to judge. Yeah.
But it's like the discussion earlier about Section 106 money.
Yeah,
There's lots of,
Yes, peripherals.
lack of openness about that.
So I'm happy to propose that we accept this.
Yeah, yeah, I'll second that. Okay, are we all in favour? Yeah, I think so. Thank you. Yeah, it seems our hands are tied at times, doesn't it? Item D, planning application reference 25/00362, proposal erection of an outbuilding for use as an annex accommodation, existing garage to be demolished, location Little Court, Sandown Road, Sandwich, CT13 9NT. That seems to me seem quite nice, but as well.
Well, I would hardly call this an annex. It's more like a completely new house. It's a
big, isn't it?
substantial dwelling. I mean, I've no objection to it
No,
planning grounds, but
no.
it's a big
It's
development.
a big annex, isn't it?
Yeah.
Massive.
How big is the annex?
And it's
Yeah.
not clear when they say annex, do they mean because it includes a gym on the first floor? Do they mean the family in the house will use it as a
Yeah. Years ago,
ancillary accommodation, or is it a completely separate dwelling?
just called it an extension, didn't they? But still. Anyway, I think I'll propose that. Do we have a second?
I'm happy to.
Everyone's happy with this? That's nice. Yeah, thank you. Item F, planning application reference 25/00479, proposal change of use to dwelling house together with first floor extent and alteration to windows, doors, location 90 New Street, Sandwich.
I think you've missed out
Have I missed
the,
one?
Pelican House.
at the top there.
Did that one, didn't I? Yeah. Item E, planning application reference 25/00417, proposal part dismantle and reconstruct rear chimney stack, location of Pelican House, 22 High Street, Sandwich, CT39 EB. Do you know, you find some every day, and I never realised that was a rectory, a vicarage. Yeah, for St Peter's. Yeah.
I would like to propose that we approve this.
Yeah.
I'd like to second
The
that.
second, all in favour of that? Yeah. Thank you. Right.
Thank you.
F. Right. Planning application reference 25/00479, proposal change of use to dwelling house to go to the first floor extensions and alterations to windows and doors, location 90 New Street, Sandwich, CT39 BU. That's the,
It's the former lavatory or public convenience.
wow.
It became a sort of ice cream shop.
I think they've had this one before, haven't they? Because there's been put up a shed on top, haven't they?
It's subject to financial viability, so they'll keep it.
Yes, yeah.
As well.
So I'm very familiar with this building because it's next to the telephone box. It's
Yeah.
been laboured on for some time. I mean, on the face of it, this is an ugly building. It's failed to find any tenants over the years. It's been a cafe, an ice cream parlour. It's not been well maintained by the owner. I believe it's in private ownership. So you could understand the attraction of turning it into a dwelling. But from what I can see, the planning application includes no details of the plot ownership, the curtilage. I don't believe there's any land
No, it's not.
associated
No,
with
it's
this
not.
dwelling. There's no room for a garden, for parking, for
No.
bins or anything.
No, it's
It's
DTC,
completely
isn't it?
unsuitable as a dwelling house.
Yeah.
So I would propose rejection of this.
Yes, I would support that.
All in favour that we reject this application? Yeah.
Strongly.
Oh, and
Strongly
you're
reject.
against?
Yeah,
Yeah.
strongly reject, yeah. Item G, planning application reference 25/00472, proposal Erection of 35 residential dwellings with associated access, open space landscaping, drainage, infrastructure works and earthworks, location Archers Low Farm, Sandown Road, Sandwich, CT39. And we've rejected this a couple of times, this, haven't we? And I see on this one, it said there might be an INH fault there as well, doesn't it? So, well, how do we strongly object to this one again? Because we have,
So I think in some of the expert analysis of it still raises questions around this. I think it has improved as an application,
yeah,
not least because it's reduced the number of houses.
that's right, yeah.
But I personally would still be against it in terms of the development as it stands.
Councillor Miles?
It has been turned down previously, but the big difference now is that this is in the local plan.
Yeah,
The adopted
before.
local plan.
Mm.
It's going to happen at some point. The question is whether we keep on turning it down or whether we accept that this is as good as it gets. There are issues about the archaeology. The highways are more or less happy with the proposal,
Yeah.
apart from a minor change. The Environment Agency are happy in terms of flood risk. There will be 10 affordable homes on the site, perhaps 11. So,
Yeah, it's different when it wasn't in the local plan, wasn't it, before? But now it's in the local plan.
so we could either object to it, support it, or do nothing as we did with
Yeah,
St George's Road and just leave it up to the planning authority.
Well, I think because it's in the local plan, it will go ahead.
Yes.
But I think it's important that there should be an archaeological survey before they start work.
yeah.
So I'd be happy, listen to that is to have it as we support it, subject to that being picked up as part
That's
of
our
the
archaeological survey.
reasonable.
Who's proposing that? You proposing
I mean,
that?
the other big issue is the loss of trees, 50
Yeah.
listed trees,
Yeah.
but then many trees will be retained and new ones planted.
Yeah,
I don't know, it's a difficult decision, but it's in the local plan, that's the key thing.
okay.
No comment. I mean, as you say, it's going to happen.
Yeah,
Rather it didn't.
yeah. It's a nice little meadow, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. We've got a second.
So I wasn't, I think you were clarifying who is proposing and who is seconding.
Well,
You're proposing?
I'll propose, yes.
Okay,
Subject to an archaeological.
subject to an, and the second?
And to the other issues raised by the relevant
Yeah,
statutory authorities.
yeah. Okay.
Highways in particular.
Sorry, I didn't have a seconder still. Was that, are you seconding? Yeah.
Yeah. Is there a voting? Yeah, I think it's yeah. I think it, yeah, I think it goes through in it, local plan. Hands are tied once it's in the local plan, really.
I think
You could just tweak it a bit.
the thing is with this, a lot of the comments from residents, they're all issues that should have been discussed at the local plan stage.
Yeah,
It's too late now because all of these issues have been
yeah,
agreed by the inspector
Mm.
or overridden by the inspector.
yeah. H, planning application reference 25/00445. Proposed installation of 3 paddle tennis courts with high glass and mesh enclosures and floodlights. Location Sandwich Tennis Club, Sandown Road, Sam, CT139JZ. Oh, so, seems funny after all these years, isn't it? That's the original tennis court, isn't it?
Yeah.
But they've got the new one, so it's the way forward.
So I think it's within the boundaries of the club space, and it doesn't back directly onto any local neighbours this time.
So,
I mean, there have been issues in the past on a previous application that I objected to, which was floodlights, which got approved
yeah,
by Dover District Council, and then people aren't happy about that. However, this one I think is acceptable. Paddle tennis is a growing sport. That doesn't justify giving it a planning approval, but also the heritage officer has commented and hasn't raised any concerns. So I had a slight concern that it was next to the bulwark. So I'm happy to support it.
councillors.
Yeah, I think I had a look online. I wasn't sure what paddle was, but I've seen it. So it seems to be a combination of squash and tennis.
Yeah, so I thought that with the sides. And,
These 3 proposed courts are right adjacent to the footpath on the Millwall or Bulwark rather, surrounded by a high hedge.
Yeah.
I think the corner of the nearest one is about 30 or more meters, maybe 40 meters from the nearest dwelling. So I think my only concern would be, when I looked online at the,
It's noisy.
it's the noise, smashing of the ball against the glass.
Oh,
Whether that's going to be an issue, I don't know, but on the other hand, it's promoting, exercise and so on. So on balance, I think I would support it.
yeah, because I don't think there's anything about the noise on it at all, so I don't know how loud it is. I mean, tennis can be quite hard, can't it? Whacking.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah. So,
I'm happy to propose it.
yeah, I'll second that. All in favour of the paddle courts? Item I, planning application reference 24/00258/A, proposal, non-material amendment to planning permission 24/00258, variations of condition to approved plans, 3 method statement, 5 ecological design and management strategy, and 11 SUDs of planning permission 22/00705 for the installation of electrical battery storage facility, including the installation of UKPN connection area and equipment, ground raising, landscape and associated work to allow amendments and wording of conditions to allow change to the approved list of drawings and an updated surface water management plan, location Richborough Energy Park, Sandwich CT39, it's near the old power station site, isn't it? So, doesn't really affect us really, does it? I'll approve, what's it?
I mean, the changes seem fairly minor in terms of
Yes, and that's a good
lots of
idea.
buildings
Yeah,
and
not-
stuff.
Yeah, I'm happy to second it.
Second, all in favour of it? Lovely, thank you. J, planning application reference 25/00454, proposed alteration to internal layout, including introduction of wall insulation and lining, replacement of ceilings, new partition walls, insertion of a WC, replacement kitchen, removal of glazed screen and enlargement of first floor bathroom, location 72 New Street, Sandwich, CT30 9DD. It's the old 3 quarters pub, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's funny, the saloon bar and public bar, now they divide it straight down through the middle.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought nothing of a problem.
I think the necessary internal upgrades and I think it's going to improve in other aspects of it without any, it's discrete change. They are discrete changes, so
Yeah.
I'm happy to support
You
it.
notice it in the front room and I'll propose it like that. Okay, we're all in favour of that? I think, yeah.
Sorry,
I'm happy to
who's
second
second? Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Item K, planning application reference 25/00489, proposed structural roof repairs, location 72 New Street, Sandwich, CT. That's the same thing, but I suppose one's conservation, but it's council ours.
Yeah, I thought this was quite a good application. Clearly the work needs to be done because the state of the roof is.
Yeah.
I couldn't work out from the plans whether the two dormers are existing dormers or new dormers. I think they're at the rear of the property and I think they're not significantly, intrusive, so I would certainly support this.
Just bought this one.
John, as a
Okay.
solicited builder.
No, I think it's just necessary, isn't it?
Yeah,
Somebody trying to take care of the building rather than letting it fall into.
bring up to standard, yeah. It's funny though, because you had the road level, then you went down into it, so they must have had damp. You can imagine what the not damp courses years ago was there.
Yeah,
So it must have been,
it's a funny property.
but yeah. Okay,
So sorry, I had a proposer for this one was Councillor Wiles,
Yeah.
is that right? And seconding?
We support.
last bit, yeah. All in favour of that? Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Item 8, withdrawn planning applications. To receive and note the withdrawal of planning application, complete note none to consider at the time of issuing agenda. 9, planning decisions. To receive and note latest decisions taken with Dover District Council on new planning applications. Has anyone got any comments? Think we can all right. Happy with that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Come down to that.
yeah. So receive a note, we have to vote on that, I propose we note it.
You agree to receive a note?
Receive a note, yeah, okay. Item 10, street furniture applications. To receive and consider any application made to DEC in relation to a street furniture consent application under Local Government Miscellaneous Provision Act 1982. Please note, none to consider at time of issue of agenda. We're all happy to note this? Yeah, lovely, thank you.
Have to note there's nothing.
Yeah. Item 11, to consider and note any licensing notice for assembly. Please note, none to consider at time of issue of agenda. I think we're happy to note that. Yeah, okay. Item 12, enforcement, to consider any enforcement notices and issues received from Dover District Council. Please note, none to consider at the time of issue in this agenda. We're happy to note. Okay. 13, correspondence, to receive and consider correspondence relating to planning matters, including notification of appeal against refusal of planning application from Sea-Link National Grid. Details, the planning inspector has accepted National Grid's application for development consent for Sea-Link, a proposed electricity connection between Kent and Suffolk designed to strengthen the UK's energy network. Notice of acceptance of application for development consent order by the planning inspectorate, regulation 08 and 16. Decision required. Do members wish to become an interested party and register with the planning inspector to be able to make representation? Deadline to register is 20. Was that there at the time?
Yeah, sorry, it was from the letter.
Midnight, 23rd of June.
Right. Yeah.
Councillor Vaz.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we should register as an interested party.
Yeah.
The proposal here is it's the Minster Marshes converter station.
Yep.
The building will be, I haven't seen detailed designs for the building, but it's going to be 23 metres tall.
It'd be massive,
Which
isn't it?
is, you know, St Peter's Church is probably there or thereabouts. It's a big building.
Yeah.
Yeah, right next to Richborough Fort, and
Yeah.
we did. You feel like this is something that's just unfortunately going to happen.
Yeah.
However, we have a responsibility to continue to feed in our comments on this because it is having a significant impact on that particular locality. So, and we did put in some strong objections through their first consultation. So I think we should.
So we do wish to register as.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. I think that's it. Item 14, verbal update from our district councils, matter rated, planning, but.
I haven't received, I wasn't in today, but I haven't received one that I can see. No.
Okay.
Yep. So
Stuff.
Item 15, date of next planning committee meeting, 9th of June 2025. Right. Thank you for your attendance.
Good.
It's all about us, isn't it?
sorry,
Thank
let me
you.
just.
Yeah, thank you.
Right, thank you.